this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Ready for a different take on Formula One? Look no further than No Grip, a new podcast tackling the culture of motor racing's most coveted series. Join me, Lily Herman, as we dive into the underexplored pockets of F1, including the story of the woman who last participated in a Formula One race weekend, the recent uptick in F1 romance novels, and plenty of mishaps, scandals, and sagas that have made Formula One a delightful, decadent dumpster fire for more than 75 years. Listen to No Grip on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Bailey Taylor, and this is It Girl. This podcast is all about going deeper with the women shaping culture right now. Yes, we will talk about the style and the success, but we are also talking about the pressure, the expectations, and the real work behind it all.
As a woman in the industry, you're always underestimated. So you have to work extra hard in a way that doesn't compromise who you are and your integrity. You know, I like to say I was kind of like a silent ninja.
Listen to It Girl with Bailey Taylor on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey there, this is Josh from Stuff You Should Know with a message that could change your life. The Stuff You Should Know Think Spring podcast playlist is available now. Whether spring has sprung in your neck of the woods yet or not, the Stuff You Should Know Think Spring playlist will make you want to get your overalls on, get outside, and get your hands in the dirt. You can get the Stuff You Should Know Think Spring playlist on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're trying to keep up with everything happening on and off the court, we've got you covered on the podcast Flagrant and Funny.
You want to start with the first question for the Big Ten Coach of the Year?
Oh, whatever.
Would you like to?
Yeah,
So you're a Spartan, is that what I'm getting?
Exactly. So whether your bracket is busted or you just want the real talk on what's happening during the tournament, open your free iHeartRadio app, search Flagrant and Funny with Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill, and listen now.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
It is time now for today's Strawberry Letter, and if you need advice on relationships, dating, work, sex, parenting, and more, please submit your Strawberry Letter to steveharveyfm.com and click Submit Strawberry Letter. We could be reading your letter live on the air, just like we're going to read this one right here, right now, and you never know, it could be yours.
It could be yours. Buckle up and hold on tight. We got it for you. Here it is. Strawberry Letter.
Thank you, nephew. Subject, I'm going with the flow. Dear Stephen Shirley, I'm 54 years old and I met a great man in church and he moved me in after a year of dating. I felt like it was too soon, but my lease was ending and my friend said that at my age I should go with the flow. Well, going with the flow has got me in a miserable living situation. Everything is fine between us, but he has a trifling daughter that runs him. She has access to all of his accounts and she paid his mortgage and bills until I moved in. I took over the bills and she had the nerve to ask me if I would be splitting things 50-50 with her dad. I told him to get her straight, but he didn't. So she still has a key to the house and keys to both his cars. She comes over unannounced to wash clothes or to see what's in our fridge. She doesn't have a car, so she usually rides with different men or some raggedy females she hangs out with. I have a problem with the riffraff being in our house, but her dad is always excited to see her and have a drink with her. The girl uses my makeup and my feminine products without asking and doesn't replace anything. She walks in and out of our bedroom like she's the woman of the house. I told my man that we need to set some boundaries. He said she's used to it being just the two of them, so I need to give her more time. My friend said the same thing and added that if I keep complaining, he's going to get rid of me, not the daughter. If they tell me to go with the flow one more time, I'm going to lose it. I've thought about bonding with the daughter, but she is not the type of person I'd associate myself with. How do I make some changes around here so that I can be comfortable at home? You're going to have to move. Seriously, you're not going to be comfortable there. You're not going to be able to make any changes there because it's not your house. His disrespectful daughter doesn't want you there interfering with her and her dad's relationship. Can't you see this? You're messing up her good things. Speaking of relationships, since I mentioned that, where is this one between you and the dad going anyway. Are you guys planning on being married, or are you planning on just living together? That should be made clear here, because things would change if you became the wife. I just wanted to know that. I think you don't tell us how old the daughter is, but I think she's definitely old enough to know she's out of line, and what she's doing is for you. She's basically pulling rank and throwing it in your face that she still comes first with her dad. So you will never be the woman of this house. The bond is just too strong between them, and the dad is scared to say something to her about it for fear she'll disappear. You said in your letter he's always excited to see her and have a drink with her. Your friends are right about him putting you out before if he has to choose before her. And bonding with her is not going to work, because clearly you guys don't like each other. I just find it hard to believe that you didn't know any of this before you moved in. You didn't know how the daughter and the father got along and all of that. You all didn't talk about any of that? Or were you just thinking about him providing you with a roof over your head since your lease was up? Your guy isn't stepping up. He's not putting his daughter in her place. So like I said, you need to move out and get your own place anyway. Steve?
Yeah, that's great advice, Shirley. Here's the problem. I'm going with the flow. This is the whole problem. And the reason this woman has chosen to go with the flow is because she's 54. 54. If you were 24, 34, 44, would you put up with this? Probably not. But you're 54. You're going to go with the flow. You met a great man in church. Whoo, how many times we done heard that. Met a great man at church. He moved in, and he moved me in after a year of dating. He moved you in. I felt like it was too soon, but my lease was ended, and my friend said, here we go, that at my age, I should go with the flow. This is your friend. I wish I could see her friends. I really wish I could. I wish I could see them. It would explain so much. Well, going with the flow has gotten me in a miserable living situation. Everything is fine between us, but he's got a trifling daughter that runs him. She has access to all his accounts. She pays his mortgage and bills until I moved in. I took over the bills, and she had the nerve to ask me if I would be splitting things 50-50 with her dad. She ain't that good, right? I told him to get her straight, but he didn't. She got a key to the house. She got keys to both of his cars. She comes over without asking. She wash clothes or to see what's in the fridge. She doesn't have a car. Who is this woman here? She ain't got no washing machine. She ain't got nothing to eat. She ain't got no car. What? So she rides with different men or some raggedy female she hangs out with. I got a problem with the riffraff being in our house. Well, see, Shirley kind of said this to you, but it ain't your house. See, she moved you in. The daughter was already in position. She not about to change her position because you done got moved in.
Hang on, Steve. We'll recap. We'll have part 2 of your response coming up at 23 minutes after the hour. Today's Strawberry Letter subject, I'm going with the flow. We'll get back into it right after this.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
In 2023, former Bachelor star Clayton Echard found himself at the center of a paternity scandal.
The family court hearings that followed revealed glaring inconsistencies in her story.
This began a years-long court battle to prove the truth.
You doctored this particular test twice, Ms. Owens, correct?
I doctored the test once.
It took an army of internet detectives to crack the case.
I wanted people to be able to see what their tax dollars were being used for.
Sunlight's the greatest disinfectant.
They would uncover a disturbing pattern. 2 more men who'd been through the same thing.
Greg Gillespie and Michael Mancini.
My mind was blown.
I'm Stephanie Young. This is Love Trap.
Laura, Scottsdale Police.
As the season continues, Laura Owens finally faces consequences.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news out of Maricopa County as Laura Owens has been indicted on fraud charges.
This isn't over until justice is served in Arizona.
Listen to Love Trapped Podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Why hasn't a woman formally participated in a Formula One race weekend in over a decade?
Think about how many skills they have to develop at such a young age.
What can we learn from all of the new F1 romance novels suddenly popping up every year?
He still smelled of podium champagne and expensive friction.
And how did a 2023 event called Wagageddon change the paddock forever?
That day is just seared into my memory.
I'm culture writer and F1 expert Lily Herman, and these are just a few of the questions I'm tackling on No Grip, a Formula One culture podcast that dives into the underexplored pockets of the sport. In each episode, a different guest and I will go deeper into the wacky mishaps, scandals, and sagas, both on the track and far away from it, that have made F1 a delightful, decadent dumpster fire for more than 75 years. Listen to No Grip on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Bailey Taylor, and this is It Girl. You may know me from my It Girl series I've done on the streets of New York over the years. Well, I've got good news. I am bringing those interviews and many more to this podcast. Yes, we will talk about the style and the success, but we are also talking about the pressure, the expectations, and the real work with the women shaping culture right now.
As a woman in the industry, you're always underestimated. So you have to work extra hard and you have to push the narrative in a way that doesn't compromise who you are and your integrity. You know, I like to say I was kind of like a silent ninja.
Each week, I have unfiltered conversations with female founders, creatives, and leaders to talk about ambition, visibility, and what it really takes to build something meaningful in the public eye. Because being an It Girl isn't about the spotlight, it's about owning it. I think the negatives need to be discussed and they need to be told to people who maybe don't do this every day, just so they know what's really going on. I feel like pulling the curtain back is important. Listen to It Girl with Bailey Taylor on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're trying to keep up with everything happening on and off the court, we've got you covered on the podcast Flagrant and Funny.
You want to start with the first question for the Big Ten Coach of the Year?
Oh, whatever.
Would you like to?
Yeah,
So you're a Spartan, is that what I'm getting? Exactly.
So whether your bracket is busted or you just want the real talk on what's happening during the tournament, open your free iHeartRadio app, search Flagrant and Funny with Carrie Champion and Jamel Hill, and listen now.
Presented by Capital One, founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports.
Hey, it's Carla Farrell. Kick that old mop and bucket aside. Are you ready for a mop and bucket clean in half the time? Make the swap to Swiffer Power Mop. The all-in-one cleaning hero has a built-in solution that breaks down dirt and grime like magic. With hundreds of scrubbing strips on the pad, it absorbs sticky messes with ease. Plus, it'll leave your home smelling great for hours after cleaning. Get yours today and mop smarter with the Swiffer Power Mop.
All right, come on, Steve. Let's recap today's Strawberry Letter. The subject is, I'm going with the flow.
I'm going with the flow has gotten this woman in trouble. And it seems to me like that it's age related. Because she starts off the letter, I'm 54 years old. I met a great guy at church. Now, this right here, you're letting me know that age has something to do with this letter. I felt like, he moved me in after a year dating. I felt like it was too early, but my lease was ending and my friend said that at my age, I should go with the flow. Cause, you know, I'm assuming if you're 54, you probably wouldn't have went along with this at 24, at 34 or 44. But somehow 54 crossing that half century mark has affected your thinking. So now you done signed up, but you didn't know nothing about this little trifling daughter that pays all his bills, all of his mortgage, and all this here. You done came in, she's so comfortable, she asked you, was you splitting 50-50 with her daddy? You told her to get her under control. He ain't said nothing to her. Well, it ought to become obvious if you splitting stuff 50-50 because you would be making a contribution to the mortgage and all that, but obviously you're not. Now she comes over to the house to wash clothes, check what's in the refrigerator, and she got keys to both cars because she don't have a car. I don't know who this woman is right here. That ain't got no washing machine, ain't got nothing to eat, no food, and don't have no car. And she got these men bringing her over and these raggedy females, and you don't want them in your house. Well, like Shirley pointed out, it's not your house. It's his house. You moved in after dating for a year. Cause you let your friends tell you to go with the flow. You know, at one point in time, we supposed to know more when we get older. I'll admit, I've done some stupid stuff after 50. Lord have I.
No kidding.
Whoo, Lord, I've done some stuff. But I ain't never had to write no letter about it.
We could help you.
And so
Steve.
now,
we could help you.
Say what? Yeah, I don't need help. No, y'all can't. No. The trouble I be getting in, can't nobody help me but the Lord. That's my dude right there. My friend said the same thing. He said, if you keep complaining, he gonna get rid of you and not the daughter. Okay, but what are you settling for? You're not complaining. You're in a house. You can't set no rules where you live. You can't make no boundaries. You don't like these trifling people hanging out at your house, but you got to let them in because it's his house. Girl, listen to me. You need to go get you another lease and move yourself back into your apartment, or at least threaten to, because you need to issue an ultimatum. Look, if I'm going to be here and I'm going to be your woman, and you're going to invite me to this house, you're going to either share this house with me, because I'm not finna be a tenant. I'm not in here as a boarder, following your rules. You know, like you got an Airbnb, you know, where you got rules and established when I come in here. If I can't establish the rules, I don't need to live here. Why would you live somewhere and you have no say-so in the conditions that you have to live in? You can't pick who comes in and out the house. You can't stop people from opening your refrigerator. You can't stop. And then she got keys to both cars and she take both of them. You can't stop this woman from driving your car. Suppose you got plans and you look outside and she gone in the car you was going to take. No, man. Why would you live like this? It doesn't make any sense. All because you going with the flow and you 54. Lady, what you ought to do is go to your man and say this right here. I can't do this no more. I love you, but I can't do this. And I know you love me, but you don't love me enough to make sure that I'm safe and comfortable. Women want to be in a relationship where first of all, a woman wants to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, man, let's let's not even get to the provided for part yet. You don't feel safe? You mean to tell me you come in the house and you don't know who gonna be sitting there? You go to get in the car and you don't know whether it's in the driveway or not? You come in the house and somebody's standing in your refrigerator using your feminine products, don't ask you nothing? You don't know if when you come in the house that everything you put in place is still going to be in place. You going in there to watch TV in the living room and some people are already in there watching it? You want to live like that? Man, it ain't no way. Home is supposed to be the one place where you can go and feel safe, have control, have your woosah moment. You got to go home and be able to take a breath. You can't go home and choking at the same time.
That's right.
Lady, here's what you do. This is how I feel when I come here. I can't do this no more. I know you was trying to help me out. My lease was up. But let me tell you something. I'm going to go get me another lease and I'm going to move out because I can't do this no more. I love you, but I know you love your daughter and I'm not asking you not to love her no more. Yeah. But I got to go.
All right.
Either or.
Post your
That's
comments.
The ultimatum.
On today's Strawberry Letter at Steve Harvey FM on Instagram and Facebook. You can download it today. Free never sounded so good.
You're listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Hey there, this is Josh from Stuff You Should Know with a message that could change your life. The Stuff You Should Know Think Spring podcast playlist is available now. Whether spring has sprung in your neck of the woods yet or not, the Stuff You Should Know Think Spring playlist will make you want to get your overalls on, get outside, and get your hands in the dirt. You can get the Stuff You Should Know Think Spring playlist on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ready for a different take on Formula One? Look no further than No Grip, a new podcast tackling the culture of motor racing's most coveted series. Join me, Lily Herman, as we dive into the underexplored pockets of F1, including the story of the woman who last participated in a Formula One race weekend, the recent uptick in F1 romance novels, and plenty of mishaps, scandals, and sagas that have made Formula One a delightful, decadent dumpster fire for more than 75 years. Listen to No Grip on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Bailey Taylor, and this is It Girl. This podcast is all about going deeper with the women shaping culture right now. Yes, we will talk about the style and the success, but we are also talking about the pressure, the expectations, and the real work behind it all.
As a woman in the industry, you're always underestimated. So you have to work extra hard in a way that doesn't compromise who you are and your integrity. You know, I like to say I was kind of like a silent ninja.
Listen to It Girl with Bailey Taylor on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I became a millionaire overnight and lost everything that actually mattered.
Hold on, Sophia. Did you just say they lost everything after becoming a millionaire?
That's right. And it gets worse. It's inheriting too much drama week on the OK Storytime podcast, so we'll find out soon. This person writes, I just inherited a fortune after losing my mom, and now my girlfriend's entire family is coming out of nowhere with their hands out. And my girlfriend is already giving my money away.
So the girl he wants to marry is already sending money out the door.
To find out how it ends, listen to the OK Storytime podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.